Hi, Sunday special. Whole bunch of things to talk about. Some figures, some bike stuff, and also a little bit of a recap on the projects for this year and going into 2025. So I've just done a watercolor blackening of all of the low-lying areas. I mean, it sort of ends up being a blackening of the entire thing, but you're trying to get more blackening to lie in the recesses. So I'm just I used a Games Workshop acrylic black. This one a little bit heavier, this one a little bit lighter. Takes a while, but that has given me the effect that I want as I sort of head into the actual coloration of all of the bits. So this one probably looks the best, and then by comparison I did a brown highlight on that figure. Sorry, not highlight, brown wash. Now the difference between the black and the brown is that the black gives far better deep shadow. As you can see, the brown doesn't. But whereas black might be a bit too harsh in some areas, the brown is more sedate. So we'll see how this goes forward. I mean, I'm not a skilled figure modeler by any means. So this will be an interesting bit of an experiment. I can't really recall if I've done a 1/24th figure properly. I know long ago when I did that 1/24th Airfix Spitfire, the first one, and that pilot figure came with, but I painted that just, straight flat Humbrol colors out of the can, different color pants, different shirt, and that's an absolutely different process from this. So these are very, very nice figures, and I think this is going to be a very good result. Now the interesting thing is that with small figures, 1/48 figures, where I spray the whole figure black and then highlight with a white, for instance, to bring out all of the detail and then paint the further colors, is, I don't know if that's just in my mind, but when it sort of moves up to a 1/24th figure, painting the whole figure black and highlighting is not as good a process as this one. And now I don't even have any highlighting on here, so highlighting will be the next step, but it's a highlighting that's on a much more refined differentiation of low-lying areas and higher-lying areas, as opposed to just the blunt force absolute black and then highlighting. But on 1/48 and 1/72 it's small enough that it actually just works very well. But anyway, we shall do comparisons as we go. I finished doing another bunch of about 10 pegs. Takes a while to do them, but I actually managed to get a process which works those angles very nicely, and I've got a very nice sort of touching surface there to grab the motorbike parts. So that improves my my ability to spray a whole bunch of parts at once. I did spray this red, so that's done. That was orange yesterday when I showed you, so that is done red. Now I'm happy with the red, which is this red, by the way, Humbrol 19. The surface glossiness I would only give myself about a 7 out of 10 for. So you can see that effect there. It's not the best. It's good enough for the model, and I need to improve. Now I have sprayed with the Tamiya acrylic red, and there I got a very, very nice, you know, almost perfectly glossy finish, but I did get cracking afterwards, as I have mentioned in a couple of videos. Two of the cars that I did where I sprayed gloss onto the bodywork straight, no primer. Now keep in mind the primer that's on here is just a gloss orange, but, and I don't quite know the answer to this one yet, as nice a finish as I got with that acrylic, it then cracks later. Sort of large scale cracks, you know, I think you get different effects, but you know, you'd sort of have a crack going there, a crack going there, a crack going there. It's not a very fine scale crackling, so I don't know. Now this Gunzi Sangyo Mr. Masking, I've also been using, if you haven't seen this, so this is, I mean, you can just about get away with using wood glue instead of this. It is an awfully thick and messy brush and fluid, and you can see the way it clumps up in that, but it's very effective because it's sort of a bit of a, almost a, I'm not sure what they've added in. One almost gets the impression a little bit of a latex mask that then pulls off. Now what I've done with that, as far as this motorbike frame is concerned, that would be on the edge of that, on the edge of that, so tiny little areas, so that when I put the two halves together I can peel off that, and I hope it's not too difficult to get off on such tiny little areas. It does work a lot better on larger areas. I think in this case I also put it onto the large flat area here, but I wouldn't have needed to because you can sand that fairly easily. But what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 little areas to touch on both sides of the frame. They're not the worst, and as I say, if you didn't have that, you can, as long as it's not a watery wood glue, but those white wood glues I think peel off almost as easily as this. As opposed to this one, which is the Suzuki GSX, the other one that's also progressing slowly, where I didn't mask anything. So that means all of those little connecting pieces of the frame are now painted. That part I just quickly scratched away an area there. So this front area, no problem, because that I can flatten and get the paint off. But those areas probably looks like a super glue joint that I will then need. I can sand off on the one side a little bit, but the other side's got a pin. So two different approaches here. The one where I have taken the trouble to do the masking, and this is the RS 1000. And the GSX 750 where I haven't. Now I do often sort of, just get parts ready and spray and wish afterwards that I'd just taken that bit of extra time to, ensure that places that need glue later don't have paint on them, because in some cases you really just can't remove that paint, but we'll see. I think super glue will be okay. Just a little dot of super glue into the hole there and it'll glue okay. I did the clear coat of the RS 1000 fairing yesterday, as I did clear coat on a number of the chromed parts that I'd done. Now while I was spraying this, obviously being a lot wetter, it looked a lot more glossy and I thought I might have a better finish. The end result, I didn't want to spray too heavily. I was already bordering on getting runs. I thought I might be able to spray thick enough so that I would move towards more glossiness and away from this finish, which I did show, and no, it's about the same. And I think the reason for that, because I was saying that that floor wax can give you a very nice gloss, it can, but not if your surface is sort of this level of orange peel, very fine orange peel. I did try and polish it a little bit just with a cloth. I didn't want to use any actual polish. Made a slight bit of difference, but it's okay. So in this case, the reason for the for that acrylic floor wax is predominantly for the adhesion of the decals now. Then a second layer will go on to seal the decals in. So as I was saying, for instance, some of these parts, now this is not the chrome, this is just a silver and black mix, so this is not going to come off much on the finger, but some of them do, you know, they make it makes it more durable if you've sprayed a floor wax onto it. So all of the ones where I use Alclad, I do put a floor wax coating on. But anyway, the decals will go onto that pretty well. That's if those Tamiya decals actually hold up. They are pretty old. And you'll remember the CX500 that I built, that was a borderline disaster. Now this one doesn't have the clear coat on. You can feel the difference, but as far as putting decals on, I might actually just leave this with the red paint, and we'll see afterwards. One thing I have mentioned before, the decal sole and decal set, depending on how heavily you use it, can change the color on certain paint colors because it's an acid that is now attacking the acrylic clear coat. So black might be a color that you'd see it more on. Hoping, you know, I won't be too heavy-handed with that on this one, and I'm hoping there's no decals that require you know, making it around the complex curves too much, but I am just mentioning that again. So remember I said about that clear blue over the chrome. I just thought I'll show that one again. It's been a while since I showed this one. And this is the one that I'm going to use on that Yamaha. So I'll do it chrome and I'll spray the blue. And I might start doing this more on some of the model bikes. It is a very, very nice finish. So that requires black base coat, chrome Alclad coat, clear coat to protect the Alclad, because if you spray on chrome straight, the next thing you do, the solvent of the next layer will attack the chrome and dull it down quite a lot. So then a floor wax layer, and then this Tamiya clear blue. That one's also ready for decals. This International Scout rim, the inside of the rim, which has part of the molding of the tire, so that outside needs to be matte black. And I'm not keen on these type of maskings where I need to put in a round masking. What I sometimes do is just take blue tack and try and just cover everything and gradually go around. It's a bit time consuming and a bit annoying. Sometimes I've tried stickers, a round sticker, not very successfully. The ability of those stickers to actually cover correctly doesn't really work. So probably I'm looking at having to do blue tack so that I can spray the outer part matte black. I mean, you can get away with just totally ignoring it. But if you look from the side of the vehicle and you see the insides of the wheels on the other side, it won't look very good. This exhaust, RS1000, so far painted just silver, but that needs a lot more attention to get tone differences on the different types of pipes and onto the silencer. I'll just have a look at what decals exist for that silencer and see how much it covers and so on. But those bands on the silencer as well, so there's a band over there, and then there's a band on each side, obviously in its manufacture, and then we've got this bracket at the top. So what I'd like to get is just, fine metal color differences, and then I'll also do the ever so slight clear blue, which not anything like that, just a very slight spray, same as on the Phantom exhausts, just on some of the joints, but not, there's only some places that it actually occurs. So some modelers just put it everywhere on the joints because it sort of looks cool. That's just, artistic license, moving away from realism, which is fine. But really the blue discolorations and the orange discolorations only happen in certain places. So I'll do a sort of a little representative bit just to make it look nice. Oh, this red. So now obviously I've been spraying red over a couple of days, and when I opened it yesterday to spray a bit, it had already started jellying the top layer. Now I managed to get enough to spray that tank, and so this is sort of 3/4 full, and that's very unfortunate because that tin is now essentially going to be useless to me unless I sprayed some red fairly soon. I don't know why that happens. Obviously it does react with oxygen, so once it's open, but I mean, some paints can last ages and ages without that reaction going to either drying on the surface or jellying. And it's just, so sometimes you just lose your paint like that. But unfortunate that's not something that happens to the acrylics, but I'm far more an oil-based enamel user. This is the NSR 500 engine. So as I was saying, spraying as many sub-assemblies as possible, and that means that I will be spraying this with next to nothing, actually nothing else on. But there's a lot of things that need to glue onto that, most notably the cylinders there and there. And while this is handy, it's just not practical to do everything. So I'm still pondering exactly how to handle that, other than maybe just spray everything and then use super glue. So doing that with super glue does mean that your joint afterwards is not as strong, but if you're just careful in your handling and assembly into the frame, everything will stay together. It's got enough flat surface area there. You don't want super glue oozing out and the whitening that occurs around, depending on the type that you're using. There are a couple of other things that one can do to sort of change the way it glues to that surface, rather than outside around the raised lip there. You could build in something into the cylinder so that it can then touch onto the flat surface there. I'm not keen to make a hell of a lot of extra work for myself, but I am just pointing out that this is one of those examples where there are still a lot of items that need to glue onto that, and yet I'm ready to spray that. And at this stage I think I'm just going to go ahead with the spraying rather than masking anything off. So that'll be another bit of an experiment. Okay, that covers everything that I brought in from there. So a bit of a recap. Did I build even remotely as many models as I thought I would this year? Nope. my many months on my bit of maths investigation certainly took time away, but even so I probably wouldn't have made the number that I expected in the first place. But the Phantoms are, they've made good progress, and it's not a huge amount of work till they are done. I've got some motorbikes on the go. So heading into December and then to the start of 2025, we'll have the International Scout, various motorbikes. Obviously here and there'll be aeroplanes that I decide to do quick builds on. We've got the Phantoms, which I suspect we'll have one Phantom finished in January, another one maybe in February, considering that the one really needs, both of them need a lot of work on all of the weapons, all of the missiles, and some final color scheme painting, and then obviously a lot of decals. Keep in mind, one of those Phantoms was going to be a Reno or Roswell Phantom, in fact, now. We do have my Mustangs, but I won't make any claims as to when the next one of those will get done. It's not a huge amount of work, I just need to pick it up. I'm not sure what other car I'll get to. That Lancia is something that I'll be dabbling with. The next car that I really would like to get to was that Aston Martin Ulster, the 132nd Matchbox. And I haven't done cars in a while. Haven't done an armor piece in a while, except for that 172nd, which I did earlier this year. And we have that Matador truck still to do. But oh, and the other big thing is, of course, this radio-controlled Balsa Harvard 1/7. I think it was 1/7 scale. And we've got this boat for which let's just show this. These are some of those deck fittings, the boxes. That was this one, which the Marina, which I really would like to make progress on. Oh, that's right. The part of that I was doing was the little machine which I've got attached to the bench drill to take to accept a dowel, and by moving that machine up and down to be able to taper a dowel with much less work than via other methods. So we've got 1, 2, 3, sort of three main parts. Then we've got the 2 long fishing rods. I'm not sure about those, that they are a bit thin. And then there are 1 or 2 others. So I guess the big hold up, they fit. Oh, I haven't built that part yet, but they fit into, or do they just go straight into the deck? I think they do get braces similar to that. Can't remember now, I'd have to look at that again. But I think the real thing that I need to do is get those shapings done, because until that's done, can't complete the deck fittings and everything. But I would like to get that Marina progressing. So I don't quite know how I'm going to fit or how I would like to fit in the build of the Harvard, which will happen on this table. Because I've noticed that once I get stuck into a balsa build, my mindset is different from the plastic builds. Same as with the boat. And when I'm on one, I tend not to be on the other for a while. So we'll see how that works out. I would like to get to those things. Okay, I think that's enough for today. Happy modeling, and next video coming soon. Cheers.